back in week 6.
Wow.
Week 6 in Spanish. Right? 6.
Cinco seis.
Yeah, 6 is 6.
Yeah.
So week 6. No. Yeah, Cinco seis. No, I know Cinco's 5. That's interesting. Anyway, I was thinking of something else. Anyway, so here we go. Let's go on into the games of the week. Last week, we're going to do this rapid fire. So, Pats, Colts, here's the deal. We all expected a blowout. We ended up kind of getting a blowout, but at the end of the day, the Pats defense did not play that great. 24 points to a Colts team without T.Y. Hilton and everything else. Eric Ebron ran around the field, and he drops half the balls he get thrown to him in his career, but he had a couple of drops, but he annihilated people who picked him up or tap dancing down the line with a fantasy performance. I think we were talking, it was like 35 or 40-something points.
Sure.
At the end of the day, Pat's offense looked better. Edelman's back, thank God. But I said this weeks ago. If the defense is going to give up 24 points to a Colts team that is horrible, imagine the Kansas City coming up this Sunday. Imagine the Rams if they play them, or Green Bay, or whatever the case may be. We'll see what happens. This is not a championship caliber defense by any stretch of the imagination. We're basically the New Orleans Saints of the AFC. Any quick thoughts on the Pats-Colts game?
Yeah, they scored, and Brady unfortunately had, there were 2 picks that were not his in and out, which could have been at least another 14 points. They were in Indianapolis' territory. That game was never in doubt overall. With that being said, I think that with the resurgence of Edelman and the way they bounced back off a short week, I don't think Indianapolis really, like we said, they didn't have a chance going in. Luck played okay. He had some big plays, down the field and Ebron and everything like that. They made a decent effort to get back in the game, but at the end of the day, I think New England is at a point where they have Sunday Night Football. They're going to find out where they really stand against Kansas City. I think this is going to be a very, very good game. I think it's going to be closer than what people think. It's Sunday Night Football. The guys, it's at home. I think they have a good shot at winning this game. I think they will win this game. And we'll see, where Kansas City stands. And if Mahomes is Mahomes, then it could be a long night for the defense. But I think, with having now with Gordon, who had a nice catch, splitting the defense, Brady threw a great ball for a touchdown. They're starting to come together overall. But at the end of the day, we'll see what kind of defense they are right now against a team that scores on just about any team out there.
All right, we rapid fire. We're going Bills Titans. Bills at home snuck out a win with a Stephen Hushka field goal to win that game. The Tennessee Titans and their amazing offensive prowess against the Buffalo Bills at home. Buffalo won. That's an unacceptable loss if I'm Mike Vrabel, considering they were winning the entire game.
Yeah, Buffalo notoriously is a tough place to play. Tennessee, they if you ask anybody out there, they probably should have won that game. At the end of the day, they let Buffalo stick around. Anytime you let the underdog stick around at home, might get burned at the end. I still think Tennessee is a good football team, and I still think that they will, make the playoffs and go further. But Buffalo and the Jets, came out with 2 wins this weekend, and we'll see what happens going forward.
All right, you're Adam Gase. You're 3-1. You had a rough game against the Pats. You come out against the Bengals in Cincinnati, and you're up 17-3 after 3 quarters. And what does Cincinnati do? They score 24 unanswered points. Dalton played average at best, 248 yards and a touchdown. Alex Smith-like. Mixon had 93 yards rushing for the Bengals. A.J. Green with 112 yards receiving. At the end of the day, if I'm Adam Gase and I haven't made the playoffs in a couple of years and I get off to this start and all Miami Dolphins fans like Kenny Utz, for those of you who like Scratch Ticket Thursday, and remember Sexy Kenny in glasses, when glasses says, "Look at me over here." Well, look at you over here, Sexy Kenny. Your Dolphins just blew a game that they really couldn't afford to lose, especially with the Pats defense the way it is. So any thoughts quickly on the Bengals-Dolphins?
Yeah, Miami blew the game. They choked. Miami, when you look at the Dolphins, they're the ultimate pretenders, I think, so far. Started off 3-0, got exposed against New England, had this game won, choked on it. But I think it says a lot about how good a team Cincinnati is coming back. The old Cincinnati teams would have just laid down, but I think Cincinnati is, they're 4-1 now, and I think that they're gonna pull away and win that division.
All right, the Cleveland Browns. Okay, they're home. You and EDP picked them to win. A lot of people in the picks picked the Cleveland Browns to win.
Yeah.
They were up 9-6 after 3 in another offensive barn burner.
Sure.
And Baltimore, this is a rough loss for them, and this is huge for the Browns. They're 2-0 in the division, are they not? Oh no, excuse me, they're 1-0-1 in the division, correct? What?
Check the standings.
In the division, because they tied Cleveland. They haven't played Cincy yet, and they haven't. Who's the other team?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, they tied. They beat Baltimore.
Yep.
They haven't played Cincy. Who's the other team in the division? Who's the fourth team?
They are the fourth team.
Is it the Jaguars? No, it's the Jaguars.
There's
no,
four teams in the division.
I've only named 3. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. I've only named 4.
They are the fourth team.
They are the fourth team. So
correct.
They're 1-0-1 in the division. I mean, this is big for tiebreaker stuff. Ravens are 3-2. The Browns should be 5-1.
Yeah.
Or not 5-1, 4-1. But anyway, Greg Joseph, rookie 37-yard field goal, barely made it over. Mayfield had another decent game, 342 yards and a touchdown. At the end of the day, Cleveland, they could go 7-9 in here. We'll see. Baltimore, this is a game they should have won, and they didn't.
Correct. I think Cleveland is drastically better improved from the last, however many years. And they're in every game. They're in every game. Their defense is better than it's been. They're finding a way to win against a good football team. I think Cleveland is just going to be that lunch pail type team that's just going to wind you down if they can. And even though they lost against the Raiders, they still put up 42 points in that game. So we'll see what happens. I think they're moving in the right direction as a whole. And they're going to be a scary team to play the rest of the way.
Speaking of a scary team to play the rest of the way, Green Bay goes into Detroit. Should have won that game. They're up. They're down. First of all, Detroit's up 24-0 at the half.
Sure.
24-0. And Rodgers, 442 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Detroit and Fat Matt Patricia, otherwise known as Ryan Brazier.
Yeah.
He was Ryan Brazier when he was skinnier. 31-23 win. They beat the Pats and Packers, and they're 2-3. They're only a half game behind the Packers for the division. Packers are 2-1.
Yeah.
Again, this is team 2-1.
Right?
This is a team this is a game that Green Bay should not have lost. Is Detroit that much better? Maybe Matt Patricia's a difference versus the dude who is catatonic on the sidelines there.
I think that the story of the whole game was Mason Crosby.
That's right. I forgot to mention.
Having
You're right.
it on
You're right.
a day from nightmare hell.
You're right.
When he missed 5 field goals.
5 field goals, you're right. And I think he missed 2 extra points.
And an extra point, yeah. So that's 16 points right there.
I completely slipped my mind. That's why they lost.
Correct.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Mason Crosby lost a game for the team.
Sure.
All right, now let's talk about a guy who still has not lost a game for his team, and that's Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
30-14 thrashing of the Jaguars in Kansas City. Kansas City is now pulled away in that division. Jaguars are 3-2. Kansas City, I pray to God the Pats win. That'd be big tiebreaker time when we're talking about AFC seedings and everything else. Kansas City could be the #1 seed in the AFC at this point. If the Pats beat them, they'd only be a game behind, and anything can happen. But again, Bortles, 430 yards for Jaguars, 1 touchdown. That's the key. Throw for 430 yards, you can only score 40. You're shut out 20-0 at the half. And what do you think? And the defense won the game for the Chiefs, by the way.
Well, that's I mean, I think we had a viewer that said, the Chiefs defense is pedestrian at best. I think we went over the comments. Yeah. I was looking at a stat, and they showed like 6 or 7 years where Kansas City has started off 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, whatever.
Sure.
And they did you see that?
Never won a playoff game. Yeah.
So all that's in the past. That doesn't mean anything right now. I think they actually, for the first time in a while, they have a quarterback that can win them games, and if their defense plays. I think you can pretty much seal up the AFC West. I think the AFC West is all but over. I think obviously the AFC East, New England's going to win that. And then the other two divisions are going to be, battles. The AFC North's always a battle. And in the South, Jacksonville, got their asses handed to them. That's a pretty good defense. So, we'll see how they come out against New England.
Sure. And here's the deal. When we go to the next game, I do not see this being as big of a... Well, actually, I'm 2 games ahead of myself. I apologize.
Sure.
Here's a game that I didn't see happening, though. Denver going into New York to face the football Jets. The New York Jets, it's time to meet the Jets. And meet the Jets they did as Crowell, the guy who wipes his ass with toilet paper, ran all over Denver's defense. And Von Miller, I'm looking at my teammates saying, what are we doing right now? 34-16 thrashing. If I'm Vance Joseph, I'm really now on the hot seat.
Absolutely.
Because there's no reason that catatonic Todd Bowles and everybody else with a 34-16 win, that just can't happen.
Denver's in a lot of trouble. There's no excuse for giving up rushing yards like that. Elway is not a guy that sits back. He could make a move whenever he wants. He's not happy. VJ and it just hasn't worked out. Keenum he's played decently, not great. And I was listening to Peter King and Mad Dog a couple days ago or yesterday, and they said there's a possibility the Patriots might be during the trade deadline to acquire, either Emmanuel Sanders or Demaryius Thomas if Denver keeps on, I think Denver's done. Any team out in the West, I think, they're pretty much done unless they can make a shot at the wild card. But you figure, one of the wild cards is definitely going to come out of, either Tennessee or Jacksonville, whoever doesn't win that division. And another wild card usually comes out of the AFC North. So, the 3 teams in the AFC West, their season may be over unless they go on an unbelievable run. Now,
me and Pat disagree about this. And speaking of seasons being over, the Falcons are 1-4. Yeah. And I've told Pat for weeks, the Falcons are done. Arthur Blank, the owner, was asked about his, comments on what he believes, what are his comments on the season. And he said something in the realm of, what do you think, or something along those lines.
He's not happy.
He's not happy. He goes, now we're 0-0. We got to salvage the rest of the season. Everything that happened has happened. But here's the deal. I'm Mike Smith. I'm in trouble. You blow the Super Bowl, the only chance of a Super Bowl. And you can talk about Kyle Shanahan, with his play calling, but you're the head coach. That's like being the boss at, Staples, and your employees mess up and lose packages off the shipping truck. Yeah, the guy screwed up and the merchandise is missing, but you're in charge of that.
Correct.
So 41-17, Pittsburgh decided to open up Atlanta's insides and have their way, Julio Gomez style.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, you're plastered with it all over your face.
Well, 1-4. Look, they don't have many losses left. Let's just say it that way. They got annihilated. And maybe they're at the point where they're not listening to their head coach anymore. And anytime the owner comes out and is not happy with the head coach, they get tight. Atlanta's going to get real tight now, and that defense has just been atrocious. And like I said,
he came in to be a defensive guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He came in there,
and they lost 2 games they should have won at home. And they allowed Cincinnati to come back and beat them. They allowed the New Orleans to come back and beat them. And then, last Sunday's game was never even a game against Pittsburgh, who, that offense finally woke up and just absolutely clobbered them. So, Atlanta couldn't, unless they start winning games, Andy will be right and I'll be wrong.
Giants, speaking of being wrong, if you're a Giants fan, like, Mr. Schilling, you might as well go hide because, you know, you're 1-3, you come in, you're losing to Carolina the whole game, and you come back.
Yeah.
You come back, you're getting annihilated in Carolina, and Eli Manning, shades of the past, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. Odell Beckham Jr., 131 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. And Graham Gano, who's a million years old, but he's not. 63-yard field goal with 1 second remaining. And he got it. I mean, he probably could have gone 65.
Yeah.
And Carolina's escaped with a 3-1 win. Look, Carolina's a good team. But the problem with Carolina, in my opinion, and it has been since the Super Bowl loss, is they're underachieving with the talent they have there.
No question. You know, I picked the Giants to win that game, and, you know, for a while the game was over, and then they came out of nowhere and just decided to become a good offensive team. And, you know, they did everything in their power, but, you know, overall, I mean, they played good enough to win. You know, no one thinks someone's going to hit a 63 feet. You know, that's just a heartbreaker because now they dropped to, what, 1-4.
Sure.
And, you know, I think their season's over.
Well, the interesting thing about that, I'm talking about the season over. If you look at that division,
I know it could.
They're only a game out.
It could be a 7-9 type of deal to win that NFC East. I mean, Dallas is atrocious.
Philly can't get out.
Philly has so many questions. You know, Washington just got annihilated by you know, New Orleans and the Giants. You know. I don't even know who. The division's out there. No one wants it. That's the same. Nobody wants it, you know. And it should be interesting. Whoever wins that division, you know, is probably going to be an early exit from the playoffs unless, you know, Philadelphia, who probably has the most talent out of anybody, you know, with Wentz coming back and finally getting Jeffrey back, but then losing their running back.
Out for the year, yeah.
So I think, you know, 7-9, maybe even 6-10 wins that division. What about that?
Yeah, it's shades of the NFC West when Sam Bradford was the quarterback of the Rams.
Sure.
When they won it, I think they won the division with an 8-8 record that year. They're talking about, you know, the first time in a million years that a team would win the division with a losing record, and they end up going 500.
Yeah.
Speaking of a team that always seems to be at 500, we got the Los Angeles Chargers beating the Raiders 26-10. And the Raiders are now 1-4. They're 0-3 on the road. John Gruden is just, you know, saying, "Look at me over here."
Yeah. Well, he's there. He's gonna be there for a while. You don't go out and get John Gruden and pay him, you know,
10 years, $100 million.
Yeah, you don't pay him a king's ransom to. And I think he'll figure that out. You know, who and you know who knows what the Chargers are? Nobody knows. No one's known. They come out and they look like world beaters, and then 1 week, and then they just sneak by a San Francisco team that just got beat by, in my opinion, the worst team in football in Arizona. But with that being said, you know, we don't know who the Chargers are. But at the end of the day, like I said, the Chargers, you know, they're not going to they're unless they go on an unbelievable winning streak, which they're so inconsistent they can't. Their defense is so inconsistent. Unless somehow Oakland wins 11 in a row, which, you know, probably will not happen, and unless Denver, you know, somehow does something, those 3 teams you can pretty much put to bed right now because they're going to need to win that division or miraculously make a wild card. But I don't see the talent being on any of those 3 teams to make a playoff push.
Speaking of miraculous, the Vikings beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. Now, that's not the miraculous part. What the miraculous part is the fact that they almost lost. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, I'm talking about the fact that the Vikings led 17-3 at the half. Mm-hmm. It should have been 37-3 with all the air. I watched this game, by the way, while reading the God of War novelization.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched this game. Great book, hell of a book. People read in jail, apparently. And they were asking me about that book. But the bottom line is, okay, you're the Vikings. You should be, with Kirk Cousins, you should be 4-1 at least. You're 2-2-1. You barely beat an Eagles team with nobody, and you barely beat an Eagles team who literally had 8,000 penalties called against them. There was one. I was at the McDonald's drive-thru on the way home from work.
Nice.
And I was listening to the play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And you know, the Eagles broadcaster, whoever it was, I think there was at one point 4 offsides or 4 false start calls on one drive, and the guy couldn't. He was tearing them apart. And the Eagles came back, almost beat them. So what do you think about the Vikings? And obviously they've underachieved.
I think the defense for sure has underachieved. I think the offense is an offense that can score points in a hurry if they need to. Look, we'll go back to the NFC North. I mean, it's sad to say, but the best probably looking team is the Chicago Bears. And,
Bears.
And who would have said that at the beginning of the year?
Well, Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
As he farts on national TV.
Correct, yeah. But Minnesota, so I picked Minnesota to win that division. I still think they will.
Who the hell did I pick?
You picked Green Bay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Look, Green Bay has a lot of question marks. Minnesota has a lot of question marks. Philadelphia has a lot of question marks. I mean, it still is week through week 5, and I hate making definitive statements, but that division is up for grabs, and whoever wants to take it. You figure Chicago, unless they continue doing what they're doing, they're going to come back to earth. But it's up for grabs. And Minnesota, if they can figure out how to do something on defense, they're going to score enough points.
Well, you know what isn't up for grabs, and what isn't. What teams don't have a lot of question marks.
The NFC West.
The Cardinals and the 49ers.
Oh,
yeah, because they played a barn burner of a game.
Sure.
Cardinals were up 14-6 at the half. C.J. Beathard decided it would be a good idea to maybe start throwing the ball around the field.
Hey,
so he threw 54 times, 349 yards and 2 touchdowns. But was that enough? No, it wasn't. The 49ers lost to the worst team that Pat believes in football. Statistically right now, that is true. I still believe the Bills or Jets.
No.
Well, no, I'll agree with you on this. The Cardinals
okay.
are No, I agree with you now. So 1-4, we don't have to talk about that game. That's a lot of nothing. But what isn't a lot of nothing? This was a hell of a finish. The Rams and Seahawks. And again, the Rams are undefeated, but Seattle gave them everything they could. At the end of the day, Pete Carroll and his chewing gum ain't going to win championships. You can chew and chew and chew and look like you're an 18-year-old skateboarder in the skate park as much as you want. But at the end of the day, moving and grooving on the sideline like you're one of the boys.
Yeah.
You're one of the boys at 2-3.
Moving and grooving, and is the oldest head coach in the NFL, if you can believe that.
He's the oldest head coach, but he looks like one of the youngest.
Correct, because he's moving and grooving.
He's moving and grooving with his chewing his gum. You know how many calories he burns chewing gum? You know what? Who should chew some gum is Jason Garrett, because he'll be chewing gum at the unemployment line. As they lose to Houston in overtime, Bill O'Brien may save his job with these ridiculous squeaking out the wins with that horrible division. Houston 2-3, they're only a game out of first. Is that right? Because Tennessee's 3-2. What else? Jacksonville's 3-2. Yeah. Game out, and then the Redskins and Saints, Drew Brees, who I believe overall is better than Peyton Manning, not because he broke his record. I just think Peyton Manning made too many. Peyton Manning made more mistakes than Drew Brees has in his career.
They were doing the whole thing on it was a great conversation. I love these conversations where Drew Brees fits overall in the top, quarterbacks of all time. And I agree. Mad Dog was saying somewhere between 11 and 15, and that's where I would put him. Peter King was saying somewhere between 8 and 10. I think Drew Brees is a very, very good quarterback. He's a Hall of Famer. And I think that, I would rather have him than Peyton Manning. You know how I feel about Peyton Manning.
I agree. I'd rather have Peyton Manning.
I think Peyton Manning is overrated, but that's a conversation for a different day that we already tried to have. No one agreed with me, but look, at the end of the day, Drew Brees is 39 years old. He's still putting up stats.
He's Brady. He's like Brady almost.
Almost like Brady, yeah. Just 2 years younger than Brady.
Sure.
And we can actually dig deep on the best quarterbacks of all time, but Drew Brees has played on if you put Drew Brees in a cold weather game, I think he's a different quarterback than if you put him in his comfy confines of the Superdome down in Louisiana.
Well, here's the deal. The buys this week, by the way, were the Bucs and the Bears. Now, breaking news from Field Yates on ESPN.
Boy.
Breaking news. The Lions have claimed cornerback Lindsey Pipkins off of waivers from the Colts. Lindsey Pipkins.
Yeah.
All right, and they cut veteran linebacker, former Patriot, I believe, Marquise Flowers.
Really?
Yes, they did.
Maybe he'll go back to New England.
Maybe he will, because at this point, we might as well get everybody we can. So, folks, we have the updated standings. Take a look, and we'll be back as soon as the little montage with the music and the do music plays.
Yeah.
real easy. Let's go right on into how we did last week. Against the spread, I got murdered. Mclovein did better than me, but that's not saying much. 7 and 8 against the spread. I went 5 and 10. Still under 500 no matter how you look at it, but he was a lot better than I was. So as it stands for the year, Mclovein 28, 31 and 3, and I am 25, 34 and 3, 3 games out. And then last week with our picks, we both went 8 and 7. EDP went 7 and 8. Now let's go into this week's scores. Before we go into this week's scores, let's talk about some comments. Jennifer Lynn, my favorite YouTuber, and the beautiful Goldilocks on there, says the avid Jets fan, by the way. Yeah. She is telling us that the Bills will finish below the goddamn Jets.
Well, Jennifer, maybe we'll just make a friendly bet, but the Bills will finish better than the Jets. There's no doubt in my mind. I think the Jets are the Jets, and I think the Bills will figure out a way to win more games than the Jets. So that's my challenge.
All right. Yes to anything that is cool, awesome. Answer to your question, I believe the Bills will finish worse than the Jets. He agrees with Goldilocks.
Let's double
I
down.
can see the Jets losing close games under 5 points. The Bills have more potential of getting done raw through the booty hole, with no condom anywhere in sight, much more. Blowouts over 10 points.
Where do they stand? What are they right now? They have the same record, right?
Well, I don't know the standings. You have to look back.
I think they have the same record, but I think the Bills just beat the Titans.
Well, remember the Titans.
Yeah.
So let's remember Week 6, and let's see if Week 6 will go down in sexy infamy,
we'll see,
or if it will go down as one of the sexiest weeks of the year, or one of the raw dog weeks of the year. And this is a game that unfortunately Schilling will not watch with us because his daughter's getting married back in Massachusetts.
Sure.
But here's what we got. You ready for what we got? We got the Eagles and the Giants.
Oh boy.
EDP is going to be eating Leo's pastrami fries watching this game. They're in New York. So the Eagles are 2 and 3, 0 and 2 on the road. The Giants are 1 and 4, 0 and 2 at home. And this is a big game for New York because if New York wins, they gain a game on Philly. If they lose, they're essentially pretty much done at this point because Washington's 2 and 2 and the other team is 2 and 3, the Cowboys. So they need to win this. This is a must-win for the Giants. The division is this bad that they're still in it at 1 and 4, and my prediction still is alive. Philly is -3. Giants haven't beaten Philly in a million years. I think once in the last 8 or 9 times. But against the spread, I have it's Philly -3, and I'm going to take the Giants +3.
Coming off a short week,
I think they're going to win the game.
I think the Giants, coming off a short week, are just going to be, after traveling to Carolina and losing a heartbreaker like that, to come back on short day's rest. I'm going to take Philly -3.
Philly -3. All right, next game, Sunday. We got Tampa Bay 2 and 2, 1 and 1 on the road. Will Fitzmagic play? Will Jameis Winston play? Well, they're playing the lowly 1 and 4 Falcons. Atlanta's favored by 3.5. What do you got?
The game is where?
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Bucks are 2 and 2, 1 and 1 on the road. Falcons 1 and 4, 1 and 2 at home. And it's 3.5-point favorites for the Falcons. And Arthur Blank and his wife there doing the rah-rah-rah.
Look, I'm gonna take one last shot. The Falcons -3.5.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Falcons -3.5. Same. Okay. Next we got Pittsburgh. This is a huge division game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati wins. They're pretty much on the road to winning the division. Pittsburgh 2 and 1. 1-0-1 on the road against Cincinnati, who is 4-1, 2-0 at home. Cincy favored by 2.5.
Cincinnati -2.5.
Okay, I'm actually going to take Pittsburgh to win this. So I'm going to take them Pittsburgh +2.5. All right, next game we got the Los Angeles Chargers 3 and 2, 1 and 1 on the road, going into Cleveland 2 and 2 and 1. It is a good one. 2-0 and 1 on the road at home. Excuse me. Chargers are on the road favored by 1.
Give me Cleveland.
Cleveland +1. I'm taking LA -1. Then we got Seattle 2 and 3 against the Raiders 1 and 4. Why they don't have the stats for their home and a road? Oh, that's why it's in London. This is a London game.
What a nightmare.
Seattle 2 and 3. Oakland 1 and 4. Oakland's the home team. Seattle is favored by 3. This is easy for me. Although every time we think a London game is easy, the opposite fucking happens. Think of Jacksonville 2 years ago.
I know. I've been to a London game. It's a whole different.
It's a horse of a different color.
So Seattle's favored by 3.
Yeah.
Against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Seattle -3.
I agree. I think it's an easy bet. Chicago 3-1, 1-1 on the road, going into Miami. Huge game for Miami. 3-2, 2-0 at home. Chicago on the road, favored by 3.
Give me Miami +3.
Taking Chicago. I think Chicago's defense will smother Tannehill. Cardinals 1-4, 1-1 on the road, going into Minnesota. 2-1, 1-1 at home. Minnesota favored by 10.5.
Oh.
This is, I think, an easy bet. It's a lot of points.
You got to take Minnesota.
I'm taking Arizona plus the points.
Oh, that's gonna be okay.
Well, it's Minnesota Buffalo all over again.
Okay. I think Minnesota's gonna.
So what do you think? What do you think Minnesota beats them by?
I think Minnesota beats them by.
Is it going to be a squeaky 11 or is it going to be fucking 20?
I think 17-24.
All right, we'll see. Colts 1-4, 1-2 on the road, going into New York. 2-3, 1-1 at home. The Jets, by the way, this is a hell of a game. This is must-see TV. 1 o'clock in East Rutherford. Jets favored by 2.5.
Colts plus the points.
Ooh. I'm taking the Jets. Indy, what are they, plus 2.5, you're saying?
Yeah, Indy's going to win that game outright.
Panthers 3-1, 0-1 on the road, going in to face the Redskins. 2-2, 1-1 at home. Washington favored by 1 at home.
That's a trap. Somehow that's a trap. It's too good to be true. So I'll take the Redskins.
Wow, I'm taking Carolina.
Yeah.
Washington -1.
Yeah.
Buffalo 2-3, 1-2 on the road, going in to face Houston. 2-3, 1-1 at home. Houston favored by 9.5.
That is. Give me Buffalo.
Correct.
All day.
I agree.
All day long.
I agree. 4:05 game. Rams 5-0, 2-0 on the road, going in to face Denver and your boy VJ, who has many women friends. 2-3, 2-1 at home, and the Rams are favored by 7.
Give me the Rams -7.
I agree. 4:25 game. Jaguars 3-2, 1-1 on the road, going in to face the Dallas Cowboys. 2-3, 2-0 at home. By the way, Jacksonville favored by 3.
You can't trust the Cowboys ever. You got to take Jacksonville.
Correct.
Yeah.
Next one, Ravens 3-2, 1-2 on the road, going in to face the unbelievable offensive juggernaut that the Tennessee Titans are. 3-2, 2-0 at home. Baltimore on the road, favored by 3.
Tennessee every day of the week.
Really?
Oh.
So you think Tennessee will at least cover, if not win?
Tennessee, I don't know what their record must be as a home dog.
Yeah.
Tennessee
all day. Sunday night, this is the game. I'm taking Baltimore. Baltimore -3.
Okay.
So this is the Sunday night game. This is the game where either I'm going to go home depressed, or I'm going to go to sleep depressed.
I'm going to drive home.
Okay, he's going to drive home. I'm going to go home. I'm going to sleep depressed or switch to. Sunday night could easily be one of the worst nights for a Boston sports fan, or New England sports fan. Or one of the best. You got game 2 of the ALCS.
Yep.
We're either going to be up 2-0 or down 2-0. It's not going to be tied.
Yep.
And the Patriots are either going to be 4-2 or they're going to be fucking 3-3. So, and Chiefs will have a 3-game lead, by the way, for the #1 seed. So Chiefs 5-0, 3-0 on the road. Somebody's got to lose. Pats 3-2, 3-0 at home. Pats favored by 3.5.
Oh my God. $3.5. I mean, I think New England's going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a field goal. So I'm going to take Kansas City plus the points.
I'm taking Kansas City plus the points. I'm also going to take them to win. We'll see.
Okay.
Monday night game. This is a hell of a game. You ready for this?
Oh boy.
49ers.
Okay.
1-4, 0-3 on the road against the Green Bay Packers. 2-1, 2-0-1 at home. Green Bay favored by 9.5.
Green Bay -9.5.
I'm going to take San Fran plus the points.
No, that's annihilation.
All right. Annihilation is part of retribution. All right, let's time. It's Dod's favorite time of the day.
EDP time.
Now, was not able to message EDP, not of time, so I may be calling him out of left field. He may answer, he may not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do it all together.
Yeah.
It's a family affair.
Dodd just got into Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, he must be excited. He could have been here on the show had it been there in time.
Nah, I don't want to subject Dodd to.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this. Yeah. Gonna have a nice dinner at the Peddler.
Maybe.
what's up, man? What's going on?
Hey, what's up? We got Mclovein here.
What's up, guy?
What up, man?
All right, you doing okay, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'll get through it. Shit, just some old shit, you know.
All right. Is it what we talked about earlier about the question you asked me last night, or is it about the other situation You asked me two questions. One has to do with a job. The other one has to do with a person.
You know what, man? Let's just cut the shit, dog, man. I want to punch the fuck out. I hope that nigga Logan fucking.
All right. So that's what it's about. I figured. All right.
Shit,
All right, man. So, well, here's the good news. You went 7-8 last week, so you can see yourself in the updated standings. But we're going to do our picks, and I'm telling you right now, if you end up posting what I think you're going to post, it'll probably get you a zillion views, man. And the shit's real, and it sucks. It sucks, and it's one of those situations, and I'm not going to go into it just in case people want to know. I'm not going to do that. But it's unfortunately one of those situations where you're screwed either way, because if you don't call the person out, nothing happens. But by calling the person out, then they can switch it around and make it seem like you're the asshole, and that's what I don't want to see happen. So, but if people know the facts, if you end up doing it, then I think you'd be more surprised that a lot of people will side with you in this situation. But let's get to the first game of the week, which you don't want to get to immediately. I saw your preview video. I laughed my ass off, as opposed to, I'm sure everybody did. Eagles, Giants, Thursday night in New York. Who do you got, EDP?
I got the Giants blowing us the fuck out.
Eagles.
I have the Giants winning only because out of desperation. He has the Giants, and Pat has the Eagles. All right, now, next game, EDP, we got Tampa in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
All right, we all agree on that. Atlanta all the way through. Pittsburgh going into Cincinnati.
Oh, shit. I'm going to take Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Taking Pittsburgh. All right, we got Los Angeles Chargers going in to face Cleveland.
Cleveland.
All right, you and Mclovein EDP are right on target here. I'm taking Chargers, by the way. Seahawks and Raiders in London, EDP. Oakland's the home team, but they're in London.
Dude, man, let me tell you something, bro. I think I'm the only person in the fucking country that picked the Seahawks over the Rams. They damn near pulled it out, except Pete Carroll's a stupid fucking bitch, man.
We talked about that on the show, too.
Yeah, you know, and it's not because of what you think. I'm going to go ahead and take Seattle.
Sure, no, I'm taking, yeah. We all agree on that. Seattle's going to blow Oakland out. But again, and I talked to Mclovein about this, it seems that every game that's played in London where it's a mismatch and it's obvious on paper, for some reason it's either closer than it should be or the underdog wins by a blowout. I remember a couple of years ago, Jacksonville beat some team that was like 44-0 at the half or something.
Yeah.
I forget what that was.
Buffalo.
It was Buffalo. It was one of those.
You're right. It was Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah. All right, then we got Chicago going in to face Miami. What do you got, EDP?
Chicago, man. They're looking really fucking good this year, dude.
Miami.
I'm also taking Chicago. McLovin's taking Miami. Arizona got their first win last week, but they're going in to face Minnesota. Who do you got?
Oh, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, we all have Minnesota. Colts going in to face the Jets. Who do you got?
Colts.
Colts.
All right, McLovein agrees. He's taking the Colts. I'm taking the Jets. Panthers going in to face the Redskins.
Panthers.
Washington.
All right, me and EDP agree. Carolina. We got the Bills going in to face the Texans.
Bills.
I'm taking Houston, and it's up to McLovein.
Houston.
McLovin's also taking Houston. All right, then we got a pretty good game. Rams and Broncos in Denver.
I'm going to take Denver.
Rams.
Taking the Rams also. We got the Jaguars going in to face the Cowboys.
Oh, get the fuck I got the fucking Jags.
Jaguars.
All right, we all agree. Then we got the Ravens going in to face the Titans.
Ravens.
Titans.
All right, me and EDP agree. Baltimore and McLovein has Tennessee. And then we got the Sunday night game, Kansas City and the Pats. And I'll start this off, EDP. I think Kansas City's going to blow us out 38-10.
No way. New England.
Ooh, EDP's taking the fucking Pats.
It's always good luck when EDP takes.
I'm taking Kansas City. I have to.
You just said they're going to win 38-10.
Yeah, I mean, of course. When I say that, I have to take them. So So I'm taking Kansas City, and you both have New England. I pray to God I'm wrong. I'll easily take that loss, but I don't think it's going to happen with that defense.
Where are they playing at?
They were playing in New England. Kansas City.
Of course they're playing in fucking New England.
Kansas City's undefeated on the road. New England's undefeated at home. But Kansas City's offense is good. Our defense is horrible. So we'll see. And then the 49 Monday EDP, this is the Monday night game where you're probably going to get some Leos and take a look at it and you know, drink some Mountain Dew or Gatorade or whatever the case is, because this is a game. This is the type of football game on Monday night EDP where you literally got to order some food, sit in front of the TV, get everything right there because it's must-watch TV. We got Arizona, okay, going in to face Green Bay.
I thought it was San Francisco.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. San Francisco. My eyes blurred. San Francisco going in to face Green Bay. Same fucking difference.
Oh, man. I'm going to take Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Yeah, we all took Green Bay. All right, EDP, you know, you can always get at me through text or call me about other stuff. You know you can. We'll talk about all that other stuff later. If you want, I'm always here for you. You know that. And then, well, thanks for coming on the show this week. By the way, the bye and the Saints, and the Saints aren't marching anywhere this year, this week, and the Lions are back in their cages this week. So, EDP, thanks for being on the show, man. We'll talk to you.
All right, man.
All right, see you.
All right, guys, that has been week 6.
Yep.
And as always, fuck you.